Hello, everyone. Hope you're all doing well. Let me know if you can hear me well, because I'm using the computer's microphone. Okay, so we have Aman Gatpal here. Said, damn, me, around random time today. Yeah, male 20 India. Well, I did have my, I think, 6 kilometer walk tonight. It was really heavy rain. So I really didn't want to go, but I said I should. So I did go, but it was quite rainy. So I came back and did few editing videos for you guys, and I decided that I will spend half an hour with you guys, and then do some other stuff, and eventually sleep. Matthew says hello, hello, Matthew. Guys, don't forget about your protocol: age, gender, where you're tuning in from. Regardless of how long you guys been here and how much I know you, I don't remember everyone's age and where they are tuning in from. So please help me out with that, with every question, not just your greetings, every question. And we have Hussein says, hello, sir, 19 male India. Thank you for that. First like given. Okay, great. Thank you very much for that. And Aman says, let me say hello to everyone. Didi says, hello, sir. Hello, Didi. Hello, Didi. Don't forget about protocol. Every one of you who've forgotten it, put your age, gender, where you're tuning in from. And Christopher Aubrey, Chris, how have you been? And how is work? How is your new home? I believe last we talked a long time ago, you got a home. You bought a house, I believe. And how is work? Christopher says, hello, Meron. Hope all is well. My ex did end up marrying the young, now 24-year-old. You're still thinking about it. I have moved on, but mentally it's drawn a line under it, all for me. I don't know why, but it feels like a weight has lifted. Yeah, good, good, good. That's what I like to hear, because I don't want you to even talk about it. Who cares? She is or she didn't. What a stupid guy, 24 years old, marries this woman with a child and so much older than him. So I don't want you to worry about these things. I just want you to focus on your life as we talked about it before. Christopher says, I'm really good. Work is going well and the house is feeling like home. Excellent. That's what I want to hear. The rest of it is garbage. The past. Who cares what she does, what she just doesn't? Matthew says 28 male, 5'11, average build, indigenous from Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, Canada. Oh, you're Canadian, eh? All right. Thank you for that. So what's left is Didi, and that's it. Now, Matthew, what the hell are you doing up so late? I'm up because I want to help people around, but why are you up? Saskatchewan is 2 hours ahead of me, so it's about what, 2:36 over there. Didi says, I'm 27 from Minnesota, male. Thank you for that, Didi. Matthew says, I'm studying. Oh, okay. What is it? You got a test tomorrow? If you do, it's time to sleep. Whatever you've done, you've done. Remember, when you're at the exam time, stop thinking about what you didn't read, what you should have read more, which chapter you should have focused more, what things you don't know. None of that. Just say, okay, I did my best, and you do your best before the exam, and say, now I'm just going to relax and do my best. That's all. That's all I can expect. Don't worry about it. Once you're there, that's it. Relax. Now, Aman says, I just came from presenting my startup idea to my college, and I felt myself as too blunt while explaining. They kind of seemed unimpressed, as it's fine, no harm will happen, but I'm feeling shitty. Yeah, that's okay. Remember, when you give a presentation at that level, your college level, student level, it's the process of you becoming good at it. Not that you should expect your presentation should have been awesome, because it can be awesome. You're just exercising it, you're practicing it, you're learning it. And this is a process of learning. So, in fact, then on that narrative, you should feel that it was perfect. Why? Because it's supposed to not be perfect, because you're learning. This is why the presentations are set up for you to learn, not that, oh, you should be perfect before you do the presentation. That's not the idea. So while you want to do a good job, but it is expected to do a shitty job. So you learn from it and you figure out what wasn't balanced, what should be more focused on, my tone of my voice, my, uh, you know, um, uh, the expression qualities, and my communication with the crowd, how to get them involved, how to get them answer, ask questions, or what part of my project I should have stressed more or explained more. All of this will come to you because of the mistakes you make. Otherwise, how can you learn? And Matthew says, I keep getting in this cycle with my ex. What does that mean? She's beautiful and a good person, but don't you think if she wants what I want, she would be in the same place as me? I feel rejected. I don't know what the story is, Matthew. I don't remember. Is she not with you? Where is she? And you are in Saskatchewan, Prince Albert. Yeah, I don't remember the story, Matthew. So where is she? And Subkissed, what a cute screen name. Says, when will I get crushes? Hey, Subkissed, first protocol, age and where you're tuning in from. Your screen thumbnail is so small. So, gender, age, and where you're tuning in from. And then I'll get to your question. Didi says, what's the difference and which one is better? Well, what's the question? Oh, Didi says, what do you think about men who make decisions from fear and men who make decisions from understanding, patience, and knowledge? In what category? In decisions about what? In their relationship, in their life? Obviously, you already know the answer. I mean, how could a decision based on fear be as valuable as a decision based on knowledge, patience, and understanding? So, regardless of what it is. Subkisses, I'm a girl, 19, from Texas. Oh, Texas. All right. Welcome. Is it your first time here, Subkiss? Subkiss says, when will I get crushes on men again? I haven't ever since I developed HOCD. I'm 19 and from Texas. Yeah, of course. What do you expect? It's like saying, um, why is it that my bowel movement is not normal while I have diarrhea? Because you have diarrhea, so it can't be normal for you. So, or say, why my nose is not stop dripping when I have a cold? Well, because you have a cold. That's one of the symptoms of cold. So, so you have a glitch and a malfunction in the signaling system of the brain at the time, which causes your HOCD, anxiety level, and many other things. And so many extra information have been pumped into the consciousness through the mediums all throughout childhood, which we were not interested in. But this information has been pumped into everybody, whether they are of that inclination or not. And brain's job is to pick up things as they enter the consciousness from all these outside mediums and witnessing and evidences and what's available in the world, and then makes thoughts with it. And because you don't know the mechanism of this thought manufacturing brain and the way the psyche is set up and how it functions and malfunctions, you are focusing so much on why is it me, what does it mean, that it distracts you so much that you can't even be who you are, which would mean to have crush on the guys that you like and so on and so forth, because you're too distracted with trying to figure out why. What does that mean? What does it mean I'm this? See, the doubt that it starts in your psyche, which OCD and OCD subsets are famous for creating doubts. In fact, the French call this disease, this disorder, the doubting disease, because everything in your mind becomes doubtful, especially about your sexuality and inclination and so on. So, for now, all you have to do is to educate yourself about what OCD is, the roots of it, HOCD and subsets of OCD. Many different OCDs are subsets of OCD. Pedophile OCD, responsibility OCD, harm OCD, religious OCD, HOCD, sexual inclination OCD, all these. And these are just a gateway to more knowledge for you in life. So even you will learn how to retrain your brain through neuroplasticity, so it will get back to whatever program it was normal for you according to your inclination, and would behave as it always did in the past. And through that education, you'll be able to help the brain to regain its balance, and then eventually it will go away. And whenever it does come back, because we are human beings and glitches and malfunctions could happen often, or more than once. But the beauty of being educated about a malfunction or a glitch or a something like this is that you will have the knowledge and education to know what it is if it showed up again. So you won't panic, you won't go nuts. You will understand, okay, this is the same as my biology getting into some kind of a glitch and malfunction, such as when I have a diarrhea. When I get a diarrhea, I can clearly understand that this is a malfunction. That's not me. That's not my normal self. But when it comes to our brain and our mind and so on, suddenly we say, oh, it must mean something. That means I'm changing. Well, why? When you have a diarrhea, do you say, oh, this is what I've always been, diarrhea, but I am diarrhea. That's what it is. So you're going to worry about it, or you're going to say, okay, what should I do to fix it? Maybe some yogurt and rice and maybe some medicine that if it's necessary, and take care of it until it goes away. And then you learn what this is and how to help it not to fall into the diarrhea again. And the same thing with OCD and HOCD. When you understand the roots of it, the root cause of it, and how it malfunctions. And the malfunctioning of the signaling system of the brain is one, anxiety is another one. And all these things will help you not to freak out about it and understand this is just another malfunction in our mental issues, in our existence, the way it is. Sometimes is biological issues, sometimes mental issues, thoughts, and understanding where thoughts come from, how are they formed, what's the relationship between thoughts and consciousness, what's the role of anxiety, ego, fear is on all these, that what happens inside the psyche. And then you'll feel confident and you won't freak out if it ever happens again, and it could happen. You know, every one of us, all 8 billion of us, go through intrusive thoughts and all kinds of OCD and so on, but we just got to educate ourselves. I had all kind of OCDs when I was growing up, and I didn't think of them other than that's an annoying. What the nonsense is this? Why should I have to touch the light switch 5 million times, thinking if I don't, maybe something happens to my parents, or many other kind of OCDs. You know, God knows. And then eventually, through education and through just the way I've been raised, that I believed in my power of choice and proud of who I am, what I am. So I simply treated them as intrusive thoughts, nothing about me, just about annoying thing that I have no interest in. And then, of course, I even educated myself about OCD and substance OCD, and it became something very manageable, and to the point that the brain learned to get back to what's normal for me, as it's always been. And that's how you handle these things. I've explained many techniques for it in my videos, and I've put many of the links of the brilliant psychologists in the description of the videos. Dr. Jan Weiner, Dr. Philipson, Dr. Schwartz, all and many experiments that have been done to show you the separation of the brain and what brain thoughts are, and you, and what the thoughts that you produce are, and the difference and the separation of the brain and you, which are two different systems. All of that will help you to realize that, hey, this is just because we're human. That doesn't mean anything is changing in you. Anyhow, so hopefully that's helpful to you. And we have Matthew says, how much is a session with you? I have a lot to discuss with this. It's way too long to type in this. Yeah, okay. Well, if you go on my site, mindthatseekstruth.com, www.mindthatseekstruth.com. And then you can choose, the package that you're looking for. If you choose 1 hour, usually for new clients, I throw in another hour on me. So we'll have plenty of time for the first session, 2 hours. And we'll discuss one on one what's concerning you on Skype. Matthew says she was in a relationship just a while ago. I did the work to let go of that. She broke up with him. I ended up spending time with her, got confused. We both felt love for each other, but knew it was not right. So it's all up in the air now, and I don't deal with it uncertain. I don't I don't deal well with uncertainty, and don't know how to move forward. Well, if you don't do well with uncertainty, it's pretty incorrect because you obviously deal pretty well with uncertainty because we all someday die. We don't know how long we're alive. It can't be more uncertain than this. But we're all every morning getting up with lots of hope and lots of tasks and lots of goals and lots of things we want to accomplish and learn it, something that we have to spend years to learn. We still go for it, even though we are not certain how long we live. So obviously, you're dealing perfectly well with uncertainty because that's the mother of all uncertainties, and we're perfectly fine with it. Hmm? Nobody's assured me how long I'm going to live, but every day I'm getting up with plans of that's all long-term plans, what I want to do and what I want to build. So naturally, we are built to deal with uncertainty, but it is our hastiness and the control that desire for pleasure, recognition, and affirmation has over us, and the glitches between the order that we have created in our life. When it breaks down, the mind is trying to find security, and it cannot find security through physicality. It tries to find security through the order, and the order was broken up, and so it goes into the memory, keeps thinking about the X. And that's when the prerequisite for desire is already recorded. And when we think of the X, looking for security in the mind, in the memory, the desire is born again. And then we are messed up. And that's what's happening with you. But as you said, it's lots to talk about, and we can't be done in public live stream, which is supposed to be just a few minutes for every question. You go ahead and make an appointment from the site that I mentioned. Here it is, the link, and we'll discuss it and explore it in detail. And we have Didi says, should we allow anyone to talk with us and give us their opinion and argument, or some people will dump us down my talking with them? Didi, you need to let me understand what the hell you're talking about. I kind of, I don't want to guess it. In what context? About what? Is it about relationship? Is it about general idea of allowing people to talk to you? What do you want to think that you know everything? Maybe some people who talk to you actually are expert in something, so we can learn from them. Or some people who actually don't know shit and want to pretend that they know. Well, we don't need to listen to them. So it's up to you what you choose and what you don't want to, listen to. But I am not quite sure what, you know, aspect or what context you're talking about. Otto Gepko says, haha, Meran. Okay, haha, but what's the haha for? And don't forget the protocol, gender, age, where you're tuning in from. Anwesha says, 30, female, India. How do I hyperthyroidism? How do hyperthyroidism and contraceptive pills affect OCD? I don't know. I am not a medical doctor. I don't have such information. I have to research to find out. Well, a quick look at it, it shows that when you have hyperthyroidism, which is a uh, not enough activity, low activity of the thyroid, so that causes certain kind of hormones not to be produced, and that itself could cause depression, anxiety, and OCD, which could end up being repetitive thoughts and trying to create that psychological security which is missing in the balance, the chemical balance, because of the thyroid is not producing the hormones that you need, and therefore you're not totally balanced in the way of not needing certain things that you hang on to in order to create that what you're used to in your biology or um, mental balance. So it definitely, study shows that it has a lot to do or something to do with it. But if the psychologists try to only focus on depression and the anxiety or the OCD and give you some medicine for that and neglect the actual reason, which could be hyperthyroidism, then those medicines for the anxiety and depression or the OCD may not actually work. So they have to focus on the real underlying problem, which is the hyperthyroidism. But again, I'm not a doctor. I don't have medical credentials. So you talk to your psychologist or MD and or psychotherapist and bring these questions up and ask their opinion. I'm sure they will know how to help out. And Wesha says, is it right to think OCD thoughts to not be intrusive, rather thoughts that I have like any other acceptable thoughts that I have like any other acceptable thoughts, and just take a conscious decision to accept the ones we agree with, like angel, devil talking at the top of your head, but you accept what the angel says. Uh, Anvesha, I'm not clear to understand your question. And for the fear of misleading you, because I'm not qualified, I'm not a medical doctor, I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a psychotherapist, I have no medical qualifications. Therefore, I best not enter answering this question as it could mislead you. So ask these questions from your doctor. But if it was some kind of a discussion that I could understand what you're saying. What I understand here is that you say, is it right to think that OCD thoughts to not be intrusive, rather thoughts that I have, like any other acceptable thoughts, and just take a conscious decision to accept the ones we agree with. But if the if there's a malfunction in the signaling system of the brain, the responses that you're having or the choices you're making is using the malfunctioning brain. So how do we know it's actually correct? Because you say like the thoughts that is acceptable thoughts. I don't know what's acceptable when we, for example, if I'm really, let's say I'm having a cold, how can I really say the taste of this soup that is made for me is something acceptable or something good or something bad when my taste buds are not working really well? So again, these questions are not something that I could hear without completely understand or go back and forth with you uh, to know. And even if that um, possibility was available, that opportunity was available, I wouldn't be able to medically make any comment on it. So when you put the question to me in a medical sense, I won't be able to answer because I don't have that medical credentials, and I will refuse to answer for the fear of my comment might be misleading, inaccurate, and so on and so forth. So Blasted says, I'm gonna meet up with my ex Monday. I'm nervous. Ha ha ha. Okay. So Blasted, I need to know age, gender, where you're tuning in from. The Mr. Erifel says, hi Miran, male 27, Chichia. Thank you very much for that. Welcome. And So Blasted says, do you think exes who get back together can work out? Depends. I can't tell. There's no blanket rule. Sometimes it does if the underlying reasons have been dealt with. If you guys have resolved the problems that caused the original breakup, or you just miss each other and get back together while all those problems that caused the breakup in the first place still exist. So, and have you guys decided to learn from each other or compromise or have become more mature or have changed your outlook in life or about certain things or not? It depends all on circumstances. I can't tell there's a rule for that. Demetrius 28, California. So thank you for that. And the Mr. Erifal says, I lost a relationship of 10 years recently. So Blasted, what is your age? You didn't give me that, did you? Have I missed it? No, not so Blasted. I mean, Erifal. Oh, there it is. Sorry. Male 27, Chichia. Okay. Says, I lost 27. That means you started it at 17-year-old. That relationship is no good anyhow. At 17 years, you hardly know who you are, let alone know what kind of girl you want. So that should have broken up 7 years ago, maximum 3 years. At that age, you don't know what you're choosing. You don't know, what your standards are at the moment. At that moment, you didn't even have standards. It was all just according to that level of consciousness. Now you have a different level of consciousness. So he says, I lost a relationship of 10 years recently. She cheated and we parted. Despite of it all, I value what we had and want to extend a hand and suggest seeking therapy together, at least as closure. Closure? What do you want? The key unlocked to close the door and go? Closure is break off. What's closure? What do you want to say? Oh, I'm sorry I broke up with you. I I did it because of what? 17-year-old, you guys were together, you got used to each other, you became each other's order in life, the mechanical process and the routine of life, and then it became part of your habit, the way to handle each other or tolerate each other. And it got to the point because you guys selected each other at age 17, which was you hardly knew who the hell you yourselves were, let alone what kind of girl or what kind of partner you want. And then she cheated because of all that whole being so young and keeping it together for that long. Not that it was any of your fault, but I'm saying you could have cheated because there's so many other girls that maybe you wanted to try. You probably have thought of it too. But anyhow, this has happened and you broke up. So, okay, that's the story. Started 17, went through things, and then she cheated, and then I left, and we left. We broke up. That's the closure. What do you want her to say? Oh, you were the love of my life. I really loved you. And now but this happened. I'm sorry about for what? You knew that she loved you at one point, you loved her at one point, and eventually you guys grew up and grew differently and separately, and to the point that she did what she did, and you guys are not together. So what closure? What counseling for what? What are you trying to get at it? What are you trying to drill yourself into some kind of a labyrinth and get stuck in there? What? you probably still want to get back with her. That's a problem. And why? Not because she's qualified, because you're used to it. And stop being choosing and making your selections in life based on being used to something rather than if it's qualified or not. Dynamically, your consciousness have changed, and hers as well. So now see if these two consciousnesses at this age it still has anything compatible or enough compatibility to make something out of it. Obviously, the fact that she was with you and cheated, you will never get over that, and you shouldn't either. So let it go. You're 27 years old. You've got no reason to stay with this girl. It was an early teenage time of a selection, which 99.9% of the time is not the right selection because people involved don't even know who they are yet. And then you grew differently and grew apart in consciousness, and this is what happened. So what's the closure? Move on. Don't waste your time. Unless you, for no reason, the reasons that you're just used to her, want to continue something that doesn't work. What are you waiting for? Eventually, until there would be a bigger fight and then you let go, that would be a closure. You have a car that the engine is not revving properly and balanced anymore. It did at one time. It doesn't anymore. But you want to drive it to the point that in the middle of the road it leaves you and it stops working, and that's when it's, oh, now it's the time to get a new car. No, getting a new car is when you see it's actually can't be fixed and is constantly having problem. Give it to repair, sell it, and go get another one. In this case, your relationship already is giving you lots of signals that it's not working. So it's a time to get off the bus and start walking until you get a, you know, new ride, whatever the expression could be. You know what I mean? All right. Chucksters, here's 38, male, Pennsylvania. It says, today is my birthday. Happy birthday, Chuckster. Happy 38th birthday. That is what? November 12th, 2021. 38 years. 17 years. So 1983. You're born 1983? Well, happy birthday to you. And since today's my birthday, Mehran Lol, I think I just came in at a very good, deeply philosophical comment of yours on life and getting up every day. Okay, good. And So Blasted says, can I get a consultation? Sure, you can go on my site, mind@seekstruth.com. I put the link down there. Make an hour consultation appointment. I will throw in another hour if you're a new client, which I think you are. And so we'll have 2 hours to explore topics that are concerning you one-on-one on Skype. When it comes to the part to choose on the form that you're filling out, to choose the time, if the time is not available, or if the time is not, doesn't matter what time, just put in any time and then we'll figure it out on Skype back and forth before we have our actual meeting. We'll just text on Skype. It will be faster. Just you can choose any time. And if you don't have Skype, just put any kind of a Skype address, even though if you don't have a Skype, because we can do it on Zoom. So, but the system doesn't check if this is a valid Skype address or not. It just accepts it. So it will put the registration through. It comes to me, and then I'll get in touch with you on Skype or on email or Zoom, and then we'll figure out what is the best time for us, what are my openings, and what is your availability to make it work. Matthew says, besides all my relationship stuff, not sure if this is the main point of your channel, but what does taking charge of your life to achieve the life that you desire look like to you? It's a good question, but it's a longer question that we can discuss it on your appointment. By all means. No, in fact, in this channel, matters of life is in general discussed, so that would be part of it. I would usually talk about it, but right now it's a little bit late, and after 6, 7 kilometer of walk in the rain, I'm kind of dozing off a little bit. So I don't want to get into real heavy and sensitive discussions to not be able to deliver it the way I want to deliver it because I'm kind of half asleep in a way. So we'll leave it for your consultation session or another live stream if I'm fully awake. Surya says, male 19, India, says, I'm feeling guilty of having HOCD. Why? It's not your fault. It's not it's not your choice. So why should you feel guilty? He's saying, I feel guilty because it's raining and I'm getting wet. Well, you didn't go and say, oh, please rain, I want to get wet. No. And so dumped. I made a great mistake in life by falling into HOCD realm. Well, what do you mean falling? It's not something you can control it. That's the brain, but you educate yourself, then you can help it to get out and return your brain. So everything I do feels like it means something. Yeah, imaginary exposure went wrong. Yeah, HOCD feels like I like it. That's what HOCD is, because that's what it does. If HOCD was so honest and clear that make you to realize what it is that you never liked and you don't like it now, then it wouldn't even show up. It's a glitch. It's a malfunction. Understand this. If it wasn't a malfunction, it wouldn't show to a person who's not interested after inclination that the HOCD is referring to. Naturally. So how could you be responsible for that? I think I like men and I'm not worrying about it. Oh, my sexual preferences, psychological change. No, no. It feels like, yeah, you see, this is what HOCD is. If it would make you convinced, then it wouldn't be HOCD. That's why it's a malfunction, because it is something that it is not in line with one's value, but it's interfering and makes the person who finds these thoughts and lifestyle not in line with his or her value would think that it might be. That's the whole thing about HOCD. So the idea is to discuss it with your psychologist, psychotherapist, and not be fooled by suggestions, because suggestions in this case are a glitch. It's not you. You don't change because a thought showed up. it's a thought was never involved when you were being made in the wombs of your mother. So if the thoughts were not involved when your gender was being put together, it can't be involved in changing it by thinking about it. There's a glitch in there. So you got to help the glitch and educate yourself on that rather than believing what the malfunction is telling you. Didi says, I have an old friend who I'm doing way better than in life, is trying to give me relationship advice, but it's all based on fear of my girl cheating on me because we have long distance relationship. No, long distance relationship is never a good idea anyhow. What do you expect? I mean, look at it. You should either you should have enough trust in the person that you're trying to have a relationship until you guys see each other, or don't ever have long distance relationship, because just it's a virtual relationship, but your body also needs the connection with that person. So eventually you may give up on her, but it turns into a game playing. You just be okay with it. Say, listen, I have a long distance relationship. It may or may not work. If it didn't work, I won't be disappointed. Because why? Because it's long distance. I mean, you could see a girl that is close by, maybe not as pretty as she is, but it's close by and you meet her every day, you can talk to her. So you may eventually say to that girl, listen, I know it's not working, you're too far. I have a girlfriend. And this could happen for her too, that he may find some guy that is not as nice or as good looking or as attentive or wise or mature as you are, but it's there. So biologically, you guys also have a certain kind of interest as much as mentally. You can't just take one and say, oh, it's going to, replace the other portion as well. It doesn't. So long distance relationship, unless you guys have plans to see each other very quickly, uh, it's usually won't work. Lucky Dude says here, I am a 17-year-old from India. I'm currently suffering from low self-esteem, OCD. I'm a virgin, and this is making me feel awful. Why? Being a virgin? It's normal. What are you supposed to have? Like, everybody, like sometimes at age 14, 15, 16, they have sex here, but that's not really a normal thing. You know, you can't expect yourself to, at that age, you just want to fall in love. You don't know, you don't. There are some kids who constantly focusing on from childhood that they just want to fuck someone, but that's that's not really that's that's not really romance. That's not really understanding woman or having a girlfriend. That's just a biological function that is, it's something that they don't think it through. They just want to see what that is instead of liking someone, falling in love, having some kind of interest, getting to know her, and so on. And then maybe it leads to sex. That comes in a later stage in life. It could be 18, 18 and a half, 19, 20, who knows, more maybe. And that's all okay. So all my friends have done it, even though the age of consent is 18. Yeah, no, 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 no. Your friends are assholes if they've done it just because they wanted to do it. Many guys do that, but they don't even know. They think, oh, that makes them really mature or somebody because they've got nothing in that age, and they think by having sex with some girl that makes them a real man. You're a man whenever you're gonna have that sex. That's in fact, it'd be a far superior feeling when you actually like this girl and then get to know her, and then together you guys, rather than many guys at their young age, I don't know, their uncle or their friends or themselves, set up some kind of a call girl or something for them to try. It's all just because they want to see what it is, and they think it's the biggest deal in life. No, it's much better if you really fall in love or like someone, and then you guys think it through, and then maybe you are at the legal age and decide to sleep together, and that's it. That's a whole different experience. And Vesha says, I agree that you can't really comment on medical questions, but you still help me with both my questions. Thank you for that respect. Thank you so much, dear. And Vesha says, Dr. Phillipson, whose interview link you had shared, said he likes to call intrusive thoughts as creative associations. Can you please explain this term? Well, it's exactly what it is. Um, this is again I've had a discussion on this once before about meaning of words. And the roots of all problems in our brain is actually since the time that our brain matured into a stage where it could provide ability to think and speak. Thinking is the roots of all problems. Thoughts are the roots of all problems. And words each have a meaning. and it's incontestable because the word is registered in dictionary, and dictionary has a meaning, and that meaning seems to give foundation to that word, which would be the basis of believing the meaning of the word, because the word itself, its meaning is set. And when it's uttered or comes to mind, because it represents a word, the thought represents a word, that word has a meaning, and then the meaning seems to be the conclusion of the perception and interpretation of a thought, which is a problem. Because if you just observe the thought or observe whatever comes to your head, that's it. It came to my head, so big deal. But when you interpret it and perceive it, because of the thought has a word attached to it and the word has a meaning, then you're dealing with a conclusion. And that's the problem starts, because you have believed that this thought is representing a conclusion, which represents a situation for you, which must be true. It takes all the chances from you to actually refute it and ignore it. But the time that we weren't able to think or speak, we hardly had any mental issues. We were like animals, everything instinctively: run, eat, hunt, sleep, have sex. Everything, all inclinations were instinctive. There was no glitches or discrepancy in interpretation of a word that could be a thought that could cause a problem. It was all instinctive. We weren't able to think or speak. So therefore, there nothing biological or depression or anxiety would be resulted from a thought, because there was no ability to thought. It wouldn't result from a word, because the word wasn't there to have a meaning, and the meaning represent a certain kind of a conclusion. And then how could we deal with the conclusion which is already set in stone? That's the meaning of the word. These are the problems that we're facing. So for that, again, another time, perhaps I'll get into it deeper, because right now, as I mentioned, I'm half asleep, and I don't have the patience to go into the roots of it. But I've discussed it in many of my videos. If you find them, Anwesha, I'd be grateful to, uh, leave me off the hook tonight. So it's too heavy for me right now. So blasted says lol. Lol to what? So blasted? It's so long. I don't know what I said, but anyhow, thanks. And the Mr. Erifold says, thank you, Miran. I appreciate your answer. It gave me another perspective. You're quite welcome, dear. My pleasure. Rahul is here, 34, male, India. He says, hello, sir. 6 weeks finished. Wife didn't contact me. She didn't call me on my birthday. Also, I don't feel to contact her now. I feel very low and disturbed and on alternate days. I'm focusing to move on. Rahul, do not be low. Do not be disturbed. Obviously, she said that she wants a space and all that, which was a prelude to maybe separation. So understand that, accept that, and let her go. If she wants to come back, or she wants to not use that your bad behavior as a excuse to accomplish what it is that she must have had all along in mind, well, that's her choice. But I'm saying, um, if she's not accepting your apologies, and if you have done what I've asked you to do, be a good father to your daughter, and as I said, you can send her some flowers and apology written, as I mentioned it before, just to make sure that you have done whatever you've done according to your culture to welcome her back if she wants to. And if she doesn't respond appropriately, then you can say that you have no excuses, no apologies to be made. You've already done what was necessary to do, and you have no regrets, because you did try to reconcile and she simply doesn't want to. But um, I don't know what your culture is all about in that sense. So you can either send her some gift or flowers or chocolate or whatever it is that you think is appropriate. And as I mentioned, never forget your daughters. Send a gift to your daughters. Don't keep your contact away from your daughter just because the wife hasn't contacted you. You be the father that you are and you're supposed to be to your daughter. Even if the mother doesn't talk to you, doesn't matter. You continue your supervision of your daughter. And you can make it effort to send some a gift and written apologies to your wife, and you know express your feelings and regret. And at least this would take away guilt from you in the future to say, oh, I should have done this. If I would have done this, maybe she would have come back, or she didn't want to break herself down. At least you will test to see where she is. And at the same time, you have satisfied your own curiosity that you have apologized for a bad behavior, and that you expressed that to her in writing and said that, I miss you and I look forward to see when you would like to come back, and something like that. At least you know that you tried, and it would be on her shoulder, whatever she decides. But regardless of what happens, you must not give up your supervision and your love and attention and care and providing for your daughter. Okay. Rahul says, I have not sent gift to my daughter. Oh, because wife may feel that I want to contact. It doesn't matter. You're making a mistake. Forget about your wife. Focus on the daughter. Your daughter is a child. Don't break her heart. She doesn't know what policies and what politics are at play. She wants her daddy. She wants to feel she's protected. Daddy is there. You don't have to send anything to the mother if you don't want to. That's up to you. But the reasons to do it was what I just told you, that you will never regret, say, oh, I didn't give her a chance to come back. You have expressed it in writing and on the phone or however, apologize with your bad behavior, and it is clear with the gift to try to get her heart back. And if she didn't, then at least in the future, you'll never say, I didn't try. But never wait until the situation between you and her is fixed before you pay attention and love and gifts and things to your daughter. Don't wait for that. Okay, you don't want to contact her at all because of your pride or however the culture is there. That's fine. But your daughter, you must contact your daughter. Send gift to your daughter with your love. And you want to ignore the wife, go ahead. I don't recommend it. At least once you try to send a gift and an apology letter, as I mentioned before, to her, just so that you will clear your head that I even did that. And if she didn't respond, you still continue sending attention, love, and gift to your daughter. Don't wait for situations to change between you and your wife before you attend and pay attention and love and supervision to your daughter. All right. Says, meanwhile, I watch your videos when I feel low, and it really helps me to cope up with loneliness. Thanks a lot for your precious videos. You're quite welcome, but please don't forget your daughter. Do not mix the two together. You continue being the man that you are, and that is supervision and love and attention and communication with your daughter. Matthew says, thanks, Mehran, for helping people out of your own time, wisdom, and spreading help among people who need it. My pleasure, Matthew. My pleasure. Anwesha says, surely I'll go back to your previous videos. Okay, good. Thank you. Anonymous says, can I ask an HODCD question? Well, if I'm half asleep and I can't answer them because it involves lots of precision discussions and connecting the points that I want to deliver. And you guys know how I like to be clear in my delivery. I will. Otherwise, it's much more than I wanted to be on. I wanted to be on half an hour. It's 103, 1 hour. Sagota is here, 32 male India. Thank you for that. Says, broke my right hand on 12th October. Yeah, I heard you told me about it, and very sorry to hear that. Still wearing the cast on my hand. Next x-ray on 17th November. Okay. Okay. And don't do that anymore. Whatever you did, be more careful. And Sagota says, thank you for everything that I learned from you and your books. My pleasure, Sagota. Take good care of yourself. We're still all wish you well and want that hand to heal and take a better care and be more vigilant and alert so things like this won't happen. And don't be so careless. I know you weren't careless, but be a little bit more careful if you can. Anonymous says, hi, sir. Can I ask some HOCD questions? As I mentioned, by all means, but you know what? I may not be up to answer tonight because I'm just about done. Maybe another time, Anonymous. Um, Rahul says, thanks a lot, sir. You're quite welcome. Mystery says, female by the forest, by the forest, close to your age. What the hell is the by the forest one? It's funny, but what is it supposed to represent? Female by the forest, by the forest. Are you close by in my neighborhood? We have some forest there. Female by the forest, close to your age. What the heck are you doing up working a third shift at your age? You're screwing up your biorhythm. I know, I know. Well, you know, I'm trying to synchronize since everything else is screwed up, so might as well screw up the biorhythm. So it will be on balance at least. Says, now I know one of the reasons that woman left that guy. Who which guy? Anonymous says, thank you, sir. You're welcome. Mystery. Yeah, well, you know, I already have done my walk in the rain, about what 6 kilometers. Tonight wasn't much, but it was heavy rain, heavy rain. But it somehow got me like kind of. It took a lot out when you walk in the rain, get wet, and so on. It's 6-7 kilometers. So I've already done my exercise, and yesterday I had a heavy workout. So tonight I didn't want to feel. I'm still sore, but I love to have a nice hot tea and chat when I have the chance to help some people around the world, because I know at this time, many people in India, it's their time, it's their daytime. And when I put my live stream at 1 p.m. on Saturdays, most of them can't join because it's like 2 o'clock in the morning for them. So sometimes when I start a live stream late at night, like 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning, if I'm up to it, not too sleepy, then Australia can join, Hong Kong can join, Singapore, Philippines, India, Iran, they all can join. Of course, North America won't because they're sleeping. But some night owls like Matthew would join, especially if they're studying. So, yeah, you didn't tell me where you located, Mystery, because I don't remember. Mystery is understandable, and A. Ahanger is here. Says, hi, Miran, nice work again. You're quite welcome. You're quite welcome. I'm delighted you could make it, but I'm almost done. Mystery says, the last guy neglecting his daughter for, oh, no, and it's not that he's selfish at all. No, he's not. Actually, he is very concerned. But sometimes people get mixed up between what it would mean to the wife if they continue showing love and attention to the child, to their child or children, and I just want to make sure they're two different things. You continue your love and duty toward your children, regardless of your relationship with your ex or spouse or however what it is, because they should be kept separate. At least they should receive love from their mom and love from their dad at all times to feel psychologically safe and secure. And that should be first and foremost duty of us, regardless of the relationship with the partner. And Mystery says, by the forest. By the forest? By the forest. What does that mean? Oh, you mean you live by the forest? Where is the forest? Anyhow, you're being mysterious, Mystery. So, okay, guys, it's time for me to say goodnight. I love you all. Thank you very much for being here and allowing me to share a thing or two with you. I look forward to the next live stream. It's Thursday today, so probably tomorrow night, late that night, I may have one because it's a weekend and more people could join maybe. And then, of course, Saturday at 1 p.m. Vancouver time, we'll have another live stream. Okay, guys, until then, be good to yourself and to the others. I'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Subscribe on my channel, visit my channel, and go through the videos that you might be interested in. Mind@seekstruth.com is making it one step away to talk to me one-on-one on Skype and discuss what's concerning you. I'll talk to you soon.